We are back here. It's your friendly neighborhood film watchers. We are Franklin Football. I'm your humble host, Brandon, and I got my man, Hunter Graham. Set it off, Chris. Chris, we are running through a pre-draft outlook video for each team in the league.
Absolutely.
In today's episode, we are going to be talking about the Buffalo Bills. Very successful team last year, Chris. Went out of the season with 12 wins. Made the playoffs. So all in all, just had a generally successful year. Now, although they decided to move on from their head coach, Sean McDermott, and hire Joe Brady as their new head coach, I don't think that the Bills, Chris, are a team that need too much.
I mean, I think they need some loyalty going around. It's a lot of, Wade Phillips, Jason Garrett going on.
Whole lot of throwing under the bus, huh?
A lot of folks getting ran over, in Buffalo. So, I think this is like a last-ditch effort to try to save the regime behind, a guy that I like a lot, man, the big galoot himself, Josh Allen.
Sure.
You win 12 games, but Josh kept his cape on a lot and wore his underwear on the outside a lot in these streets, man.
Yep, had to turn into Superman.
Had to turn into a superhero at all times. So they got a lot of good pieces. They got a lot of questionable pieces.
Yeah.
And you got to say, do people mature? Do we get people to turn the corner? And what ends up happening in some different areas, man?
So I'm glad that you mentioned maturity and turning the corner, Chris, because I believe that one of the top two needs on the Buffalo Bills is wide receiver. They made the signing for DJ Moore in the offseason. But besides that, Chris, they have Keon Coleman, who it seems like they are out on at the moment. They threw him under the bus, and the owner was the bus driver. But he's going into year 3 at first round drafted receiver. And then they also have Khalil Shakir, who's been a serviceable wide receiver 2/3. Been like a 700, 800 yard guy the large majority of his career. That's not enough. Chris, you got to get Josh Allen and DJ Moore some help.
This is where me and you differ. That's why this makes it fun here, Franklin Football. We don't always agree. I think Keon Coleman gets an opportunity to have a level of maturity and turns the corner. There'll be year 3 for him. DJ Moore is going to be, the lead dog there, and it'll kind of help bring him along. He's got the tools. He's got the size, the physicality. He checks all the boxes. He just doesn't have the maturity. So I think, whereas you would think they would go get a wide receiver at 26, because that's one of their top 2 picks in the top 100. I believe you go with the unsexy pick and go get the offensive line bolster. I don't think they blocked extremely well. Matter of fact,
especially not in the interior. That center guard combo was atrocious.
Absolutely. So one of our good friends, Boss Cowboy and Henny and the Hitters at the liquor store, as well as Landlord, did a real extensive detailed video on that running game. And I think they can get better in the offensive line. So I think if you go get an offensive lineman at 26, help bolster that, and then it helps Josh not to have to run the football so much. You can give it to Mr. Cooks, let him work. And then I think that helps with the football team.
I agree. O'Cyrus Torrence has not been as advertised. It sucks because I was a fan of him in college.
Right.
I called O'Cyrus Torrence a body snatcher. I thought that he moved men against their will really well in college.
Okay. In college
has not done that very well in the pros.
Okay.
But I am just as vocal about my losses as I am about my W's, Chris. So I'll wear that one.
Okay, I give you that. And he's not a rookie, so you judging it?
No, absolutely.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Okay.
He's going into year 4. So here's the thing, though, Chris. Us being Cowboys fans, we are intimately familiar with Connor McGovern. Connor McGovern he's just kind of like a dude.
He's a guy. He's a jag.
Yeah, and offensive line, you're you're either good or you're bad at offensive line, right?
True.
He's not gonna be one of those top guys. His name's not gonna ring bells and things like that. And that's okay. That's just kind of what he is. But there's definitely room for improvement there. And Alec Anderson is also just a guy. Was not good last year. If we talk about O'Cyrus Torrence, not living up to expectations, Alec Anderson was below that. He just wasn't good last year. I think that he was by far their worst offensive lineman, in my opinion. So yeah, I going to get the sexy pick, Chris. The unsexy pick. Is it sometimes might be the best decision that you can make. They pick relatively low in the first round.
Right.
That is the burden of success. But I think that if they think about moving up a few picks, or if they just try to sit and pick, going to get an offensive lineman, like if Vega Ioane, the guard from Penn State, if he manages to fall,
gotcha.
If you mess around and you get
Caden Proctor.
Yeah, Caden Proctor is not a guard. He's listed at tackle, but he made Tyler Smith look small when he was there. Looking beside him. So if you want to move him inside, I think that he can do it. I like Notre Dame's guard, Billy Scharf. I think is how I think you pronounce his name. He was a guy that I liked, and I liked Oregon's guard, Emmanuel Pregnant. I think that he was also really good. And also Rutledge.
Rutledge. The guard out of Georgia Tech. Yeah, guard out of Georgia Tech.
So I do think that they have a lot of options, whether they want to move up or if they think that they can get their guy moving down to try to get another pick, maybe in the top 100, because they only have 2.
Right.
They only have 2, and outside of that top 100, I think is where you may not expect guys to be able to come in and be a contributor, especially when you're picking at the back of all of those rounds. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, Chris, if it's not receiver, I definitely agree that they should go get one of those big men.
I mean, it's just the physically sound thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
If I've already got a franchise MVP quarterback, I've got a running back that's still in his physical prime. I wouldn't draft it for a wide receiver. Let me go bolster the hot 45. I'm just going to start naming the offensive line the hot 45.
Mm-hmm.
If my hot 45 can get the work done up front, then I'm able to help my offense and get us into the next place. Yeah. When you win 12 games in the NFL, man, and you know how we've had that feeling before, 12 games, a lot of regular season wins, you're a team that can go compete for the championship. Absolutely. And I just think they just need to don't have to go with the flashy, piece, but go get the sound, solid piece. And I think they can get right back to that AFC championship, or at least be knocking on the door for the opportunity to play for.
Absolutely, especially with Kansas City kind of being hampered by Pat Mahomes missing some time at the beginning of the season due to the ACL.
Yep. Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving at best.
Now, on the defensive side of the ball, Chris, they also don't need too much. They've made some good signings in the offseason, by bringing in guys like Bradley Chubb, Geno Stone, CJ Gardner-Johnson. They've tried to get ahead of those things. I do think that their nose tackle, Deion Walker, he's probably the weakest link on their defensive line.
True.
I'm not saying that he's bad. He was a rookie last year. I don't judge rookies. But I do think that he doesn't stop me from upgrading at that position if a nose is like your best player available.
I mean, absolutely. There's nobody on the defense. They got a couple of young defensive backs. They got the Harrison kid out of Kentucky from last year. Yeah, he didn't play. I think Dorian Strong he's a 5th rounder, had showed a lot of potential. I think he's coming off injury as well. So they could go in that way, but if they can be better up front and stop the run, they can go get the McDonald kid out of Ohio State.
Yeah, Cade McDonald.
Absolutely. McDonald. Go get him. I think that bolsters their defensive line. And
Christian Miller out of Georgia.
Yeah,
maybe not at 26, but man, Georgia defense. Scout the helmet. Sometimes, Chris, you got to scout the helmet.
Sometimes you got to scout it and give it its love. but if they've got gangsters on tape, you might want to take those guys too. So I don't think, even though they don't have a lot of picks in the top 100, they can get 2 players, plug them in, and probably be right back in that same spot there next year. But having the chance to redo bad mistakes, they can maybe be right back into the position they want to be in, man.
But because I think that the Bills are a well rostered team, the biggest question mark might be at head coach. Sean McDermott did a lot just putting everything on Josh Allen's shoulders on that offense. I need to see what Joe Brady's going to do.
True. Joe's got a tall task. Like we said at the beginning of the video, when you start having to the point where you got a guy who was already on this staff, put him in the head position, and people know all those different things, he's got a lot of questions to answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, let me ask you this, though, Chris. Do you think that Josh Allen knows how to not be Superman?
His problem is he has been the best weapon. Calling his own number has been something he's done for the last couple of years, and he trusts that. It's going to take the coach bringing that back in to say you got to trust the pieces around you because you're going to need them later. But at the end of the day, he's going to believe in himself above all else. So I always find it as a detriment to a quarterback when they feel like they have to be perfect all the time and they have no problem with playing hero ball. I think if he stays inside the confines of the offense and then sprinkles in his magic every now and again, I think that's a better recipe for the football team. That fourth down, he had a 4th down run last year, man, where he went like 35 yards, man. They switched the man and stuff like that. It was just insane. But Josh is that kind of guy. But I think Josh needs to rely on the other guys around him to make his job a little bit easier. And I don't need to see him. One thing, I don't need to see him having his cape on in week 5. I need to see him having his cape on in week 18.
And that's what he did last year. He started to just try to put everything on his own shoulders very early in the season. Now, granted, it was successful, cool, but let's say they put some more offensive linemen around him to give him more time to pitch the ball downfield, or give him a first round receiver to where he maybe doesn't have to do everything himself. Does he know how to not do that? Can Superman take a day off and just be Clark Kent for a day?
The world may never know that, bro, because he has been so good since like year 2 of his career. And he's relied on that. So Joe Brady's gonna have to reel that back in, because like I said, if you bring that cape on later in the season, then that's warranted. But I don't need him to have to put on MVP seasons for me to feel happy about him. The goal for him now is get to the AFC Championship and get to the Super Bowl. And this might be his best opportunity to do it.
Last year was his best opportunity to do it.
No,
2025 was his best opportunity to do it because the Chiefs were not in the playoffs.
They ducked everybody. They didn't have to go through the Ravens. They didn't have to go through the Chiefs.
Nope.
But I think
the Bengals or any of those other top flight quarterbacks.
Right. But
last year was his best opportunity to do it. That I don't believe that will happen again.
I'll give you that. I don't think Pat's going to be back this year. So if Pat's not back,
Pat might not be Pat, but he's probably going to come back. I would even say mid-October. Pat will probably be back.
He heard it on the last week of the season.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to go. You know what? You're right now going against my medical philosophy about ACLs. No problem. No problem.
Yeah. No problem. He needed a little turkey to make the ligament strong again.
Hey, listen. If it's to the point that I'm going to keep that across the board, he may look great, but if that season's going a certain kind of way, I'm not going to jeopardize my franchise quarterback to be able to do that. So
we'll talk about that in the video dedicated to them. Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt, without a question. So, I like the outlook of the Bills, man.
Yeah.
And I think they can make some noise, man. I definitely think they can make some noise.
I do. I don't think that they necessarily need to sign anybody else in free agency.
Nope.
just gotta tighten up that interior offensive line. You know, go and
Get
get
healthy.
a receiver, even a guy or two on defense. You know, if you want to go get a cornerback, if you want to go get a linebacker to help out Bradley Chubb or a better nose tackle, I don't think Deion Walker stops me from drafting a guy.
I don't think you need to get. You got quarterbacks last year. I think if you go defense, you go get a linebacker.
Yeah.
If you know, I don't think they need a lot of different pieces, man. I think they just need to let their pieces mature.
Yeah,
and
because last year they drafted Max Hairston in the first round.
Right, that's what I said. Yeah, so I don't think they need a lot of different pieces, man. I think they need to just let their guys mature, man, and believe that they can be that team again.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Coaching notwithstanding, I do think that they got another good season loaded.
Yeah, no doubt. I think they're gonna have a great season loaded up. So that's my outlook on the Bills, man. Walk us out, B.
All right, so if you stuck with us this long, we'd have been on for about 15, 16 minutes now. I need you to do those 4 valuable things for us. I need you to spend those 4 bits of digital currency. I need you to like. I need you to comment. I need you to share. And if you're not already, I need you to subscribe. You know, those are those 4 pieces of valuable digital currency that don't cost you anything for real, but mean all of the world to us, help us get in more people's algorithms daily, right?
No doubt.
So Chris always tries to give like real life metaphors for who we are. I try to keep it in the realm of entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Superman needs Batman every now and then. You know, because a lot of his villains know that he's weak to kryptonite, vulnerable to magic and all of that. Bruce got them hands. Batman got them hands, and he will serve them at all.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I remember this one comment, Chris. Bruce said that and Superman that got brainwashed. Bruce said Superman wouldn't hurt a lot of people because deep down he's a good person. Batman said deep down I'm not. He throw them things, right?
Yeah,
so,
he got to give him that work.
Absolutely. So sometimes you need that other guy, not just a sidekick, but another top flight hero to come in there and do what needs to be done. That's what me and Chris do for this football thing daily. And so together we will always come together and beat Franklin football. Until next time. Peace.